What is a cheater? That is the first question that you need to ask yourself, and you need to know what a cheater means to you. In this regard, to be cheated on means that you first have to be in a mutually exclusive relationship with another person. One thing that I have noticed about women who are in a position where they are hurt or they feel betrayed by another woman, and after speaking to them for a few moments, I come to a realization that they are not aware of. And many times these ladies are emotionally attached to another woman, but they are not in a committed relationship with this person. In other words, the lady who feels like she's been cheated on or betrayed has not discussed with the other person, and they have not mutually agreed upon being in a relationship with each other exclusively. And they also have not discussed what they believe cheating is. And also, they have not discussed their boundaries in their relationship together. It's very important that when you are referring to someone of romantic and sexual interest as cheating on you, that you understand where you stand with this person. Are you really in a exclusive relationship with this person? Because I have learned that some women are not in an exclusive relationship with another woman. They are strictly in a sexual relationship. They have not agreed upon being in a committed partnership together. And one of the young ladies usually gets very emotionally involved with the other person. And she feels like she's been cheated on once she finds out that the woman that she has been sexually involved with has other women in her life. You both have to be in agreement about your relationship status, because nowadays people do not communicate with one another. They assume that they are on the same path, but they are not. And a lot of these young ladies always feel like they're being cheated on. They feel like nobody is ever faithful to them. And a lot of the underlying reason is because there is a lack of communication in her dealings with other women. You can actually be in a physical sexual relationship with someone, and the other person does not have any thoughts or ideas of being in an exclusive relationship with you, also known as a commitment to just you. And you also have to consider that there are some people who are not monogamous. Monogamous means that a person values and only participates in relationships with one person exclusively. You have to discuss topics such as, do you believe in monogamy? Do you believe in being in a polyamorous relationship? These are topics that have to be discussed. Just because you know that you are a monogamous person does not mean that the person that you want to be with, or who you're attracted to, or who you're involved with romantically and sexually, that does not mean that they are monogamous. And then there's also another relationship type that you need to consider. There are some people who believe in being celibate while they're single, but when they decide to start dating someone, that person still chooses to remain celibate. Celibate means that you are not engaging in any form of sexual relations with another person. And the reasons why you choose celibacy vary. Some people choose celibacy for spiritual reasons. Some choose to work on their health and their self-esteem. And there are other reasons why people choose celibacy. But you will need to communicate with your partner that you are celibate. And you will need to find out if they are celibate. Because just because you are celibate while dating a person does not mean the other person is celibate. Now that I have discussed these different type of relationship scenarios and the importance of communication, now we can go into the topic of this video regarding cheating and being cheated on. And I've titled my video, How to Deal with a Lesbian Who Cheats on You. My name is Giselle Wallace, lesbian life coach and author. I do provide my lesbian perspective on my YouTube channel, and my content is catered to lesbian, gay, bisexual, and LGBTQ plus people. The content is relatable, informational, and intended to build community. If this interests you, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you. How to deal with a lesbian who cheats on you. I did actually cover quite a bit of information that you may need to listen to again, take notes, and contemplate and ultimately apply it to your life, because every scenario that I just mentioned will determine whether or not you're really being cheated on. For example, if you think that you're in a relationship with someone exclusively, and then you catch the person who you are in this relationship with kissing another woman, maybe you actually catch them literally in the physical sexual act together. Well, at this point, you're devastated, you're heartbroken, and you are saying you were cheated on. And I have actually coached women who love women. And upon the coaching process, I realized, and I intentionally wanted them to realize as well as accept, that in many of their situations, they were not in a exclusive relationship with this woman who they said cheated on them. They were still single. And so if you are single, and if you see the person who you're interested in kissing on another woman, or you find them literally in a physical sexual act together, when you confront the person who you are emotionally and maybe even sexually involved with, the other woman is not on the same page with you, and she will express to you that she is not dating anyone exclusively. She is not ready for a committed relationship. And this brings a sense of embarrassment and devastation to the woman who believed that she was in an exclusive relationship with this other woman. And upon further evaluating the situation, it is determined that because they spent a lot of time together, because there was a lot of hugging and kissing and touching involved, maybe they didn't actually go all the way, but it was enough physical touch. There was enough quality time spent to where you really began to get feelings for this person, and you felt like you were in a exclusive relationship, and the other person did not have the same mutual feelings or thoughts as you. And this happens, and you feel that you are being cheated on, or that your person of interest is unfaithful. But they may have different values, different boundaries, and different relationship interests that you may not be aware of because there was no communication involved. And once you determine where you stand with a person, then you need to reevaluate yourself and see the moments during your experience with this other person that you could have taken more time to dissect the situation, as well as to be fully aware, as well as fully informed about the person that you're involved with. Because once you do so, and this is kind of like after everything has ended, you're just contemplating everything. You're pretty much reviewing the experience that you went through with the person who you wanted to be with, or who you thought you were in an exclusive relationship with, but the truth came out that you were not in an exclusive relationship with this person. And this person, yes, your heart is broken because this person was not in a committed sexual relationship with you. You learned that this person was involved with other women, or involved with another woman, or maybe you just found out that she had already moved on. Because sometimes a person can move on and you can still be attached to the person, and you see them mingling with other women, and you assume that the person of interest likes someone else more than you. But you really don't know what the person is thinking, because you automatically projected your feelings that you have for the other person onto the other person, as if the feelings that you had were reciprocated. And it's a tough lesson to learn, but it's a very important lesson to learn. That way, in the future, you will be more mindful, and you will take more time to get to know the person that you want to be involved with. And you also will make sure that you are self-aware, and that you are not rushing a relationship. And it just teaches you to learn how to listen and observe and communicate with a prospective partner. Now, let's say that you mutually have agreed to be in a exclusive romantic and or sexual relationship together as a same-sex attracted couple. So you're basically in agreement that you will only date each other exclusively, and you both agree to a monogamous relationship type. So once that is established, you have a clear understanding of it. You both have communicated together about your boundaries, and you have confirmed that you are in a relationship together that is a committed relationship between only the two of you. At this point, you now start to go on the path of learning to trust each other. Trust is not something that happens immediately. Although trusting someone is perceived as something that you do almost instantly, that's really not the case, because just like it takes time to get to know a person, it takes time to trust a person. And you actually have to be in certain situations to be able to witness or even test your trust in a person. For example, I will just share a situation I was in. It was agreed between me and this young lady that I dated that we were in a exclusive relationship together. It was a monogamous relationship. We had these conversations. They were clearly discussed. I was fully aware that I was in a exclusive relationship with this woman and vice versa. She was clearly aware that she was in an exclusive relationship with me. However, there was one caveat to our relationship dynamic, and this caveat was that it was a long distance relationship. I personally do not like long distance relationships. I've been in more than one long distance relationship, so I have pretty good experience on being in long distance relationships. And this particular long distance relationship, we were in communication with each other by phone, and we also would FaceTime one another. We made plans to visit each other. However, those plans were derailed. But we were very proactive in discussing how we would meet each other throughout the year. Because when you have a long distance relationship, you have to make plans. And what I mean by plans is plans to actually see each other. Because the way the relationship ended is the young lady that I was in the exclusive relationship with, she actually cheated on me. And it was pretty shocking for me, but at the same time, I was not surprised. And the reason why I was not surprised is because I learned a little bit about her past, or rather she pretty much shared with me about her past. And in her past experiences with women, she had a history of being unfaithful. But she made it very clear to me that she changed and turned her life around. And me being who I was at the time, I gave her the benefit of the doubt. And I decided to give her a chance to be in a relationship with me. And she actually did not keep her word, because she did cheat on me. And how she cheated on me was very obvious but secretive at the same time. And what I mean by that is there were moments when we would have conversations on the phone and she would mention how she has a friend, and she would say that she's going to go visit a friend of hers for a couple of hours, and then we can talk tomorrow, meaning she's telling me we can talk tomorrow. So these were red flags. And being who I am, I would remember the conversations that we had, and I would pick up on things that were red flags. And I actually gave the relationship a little bit more time, only because I believed that the truth would come out. And it did. The truth did come out. She actually ended up confessing to me that she was cheating on me. And I'm a very intuitive person, very spiritual person. So I knew before she told me. But when she told me, I was already ready in my mind to move on. And I was able to move on pretty quickly from that relationship, because the relationship wasn't that long. Depending on how long the relationship is, as well as how productive or how destructive the relationship, that all can affect how you can move on in your life. But what I was able to learn from that situation is that I needed to always listen and pay attention to my partner. And that's what I did in this relationship. And I needed to make sure I paid attention to what I was feeling, what I was thinking, what I needed, what I desired. And I also prayed in my relationship, and I always listened to my intuition. And this is what helped me. And it actually didn't cause me to feel like I had failed because of her cheating on me. Because what a lot of women don't understand is that you can be a healthy person in a relationship and be involved with a person who is not healthy. And I'll repeat that. You can be a person who is healthy in a relationship, in an exclusive committed relationship, and the other person is not a healthy person in that committed relationship with you. And what I mean by that is you are always your own person. You are never the other person, or you should never lose yourself in a relationship with another person. You always have to keep your head on your shoulders. You always have to be in a mindset of making progress. You have to care about yourself enough to the point where whatever that other person does, it will not hold you back. It will not change you into a person who you are not. And you will not feel defeated or like a failure because of the actions of another person. Because relationships are supposed to be in a direction of reciprocity, commitment, and faithfulness, and growth. And when you communicate that with one another, that is the standard. And when the other person breaks that standard, then they are responsible for their own actions, and they have to decide if they're going to remain to be a unfaithful person. Because being unfaithful or being a cheater is actually a habit. It is a choice that the other person has to take responsibility for. And if they choose not to take responsibility for their actions, they're going to continue to be a cheater. But you, as your own person, you are only going to be cheated on continuously if you allow it. You will pick up a person's behaviors. You will begin to learn their thought patterns when you are in communication with this person, when you are around this person. And it is completely up to you to pay attention to the red flags and also the white flags, because we don't always talk about the white flags. Some people may call them green flags, but The red flags, of course, means danger. The white flag or the green flag means success. You're on the right path. So you have to pay attention to the flags in your relationship. And if you are seeing red flags, then it is your responsibility to communicate with your partner about where you stand in the relationship. And if your partner does not respect where you stand, then at this point, you know that your partner really does not respect your boundaries. And they will continue to cheat on you. But the only way a person can cheat on you is if you are still there with that person. You can always exit the relationship. As I mentioned, I exited the relationship. My mind was already prepared to leave the relationship already. So when this ex-partner of mine confessed to cheating on me, I just knew that it was inevitable because of her behaviors. Her patterns were not in alignment with who she says she was now. Because she said who she was now, of course, at the time of the now, she changed her life. She was no longer someone who was a player. Because as a matter of fact, she used the verbiage that she was a female player. Relationships can be very challenging. Relationships are not for the faint of heart. It really takes a strong person to be in a relationship because relationships are not something that just automatically happen. You have to take action in your relationship. And a lot of people are not willing to confront the issues in their relationships because of fear, because of insecurities, feelings of loneliness, feelings of shame. Maybe some people feel guilt. Maybe they feel guilty if they let a person know that they're aware of their indiscretions. Because a lot of times when people are involved with people who are manipulators and cheaters, they will keep record of all of your wrongdoing. And they do that intentionally so that when you confront them with their indiscretion, they immediately will throw back at you all of your wrongdoings. And your wrongdoing may not be being a cheater or being unfaithful. Maybe they caught you in what they call a white lie. But a lie is a lie. And so people will use things against you. They'll blackmail you. When you're dealing with all of that, you are in a toxic relationship. And more than likely, you're not going to be able to communicate with this person. And you need to move on. To have a relationship where both parties involved and they're very clear on where they stand in their relationship, they understand their values, they understand their boundaries, they understand who they are as individuals, and they are aware of what kind of relationship type fits them. And they are very grateful and involved in being in their relationship, being present, communicating with their partner, being honest, being transparent, that is a person who is working on themselves. That is a person who is ready to be in a relationship. Both parties have to be ready to be in a relationship because it takes work. It's not always fireworks. There will be moments where you're in the valley. And when you're in the valley, you need a partner who doesn't dump on you. You need a partner who will lift you up and get you back on the hill. And eventually you both get to the mountain. Well, I hope that this message helps you to better understand about how to deal with the lesbian who cheats on you. Because there's more involved in relationship dynamics than what is generally discussed in the open. And just so you know, you don't have to deal with anyone who is cheating on you. You can move on. I am a certified professional lesbian life coach, and I do provide one-on-one life coaching. I also provide couples life coaching for same-sex attracted couples. If you want to receive life coaching, you can contact me. I'll be glad to be your lesbian life coach. My contact information is here on YouTube in the description box. Thank you for listening. Have a wonderful day.